They swore it was just temporary testing gear, so why did it come with a decade-long contract, a flashing red light that sent my goats into a frenzy, and a tech crew that bolted faster than jackrabbits at a gun show when I demanded to know who authorized it? I wasn't even out of bed when Bessie, my no-nonsense dairy goat, hurled her 150-pound bulk into the barn wall like a battering ram. The rest followed her lead, 8 panicked goats charging in circles, slipping on straw, slamming into my ancient Ford tractor, and practically frothing at the mouth. The culprit? A blinking red beacon perched on my barn roof that wasn't there the day before. It looked like something you'd spot on a prison tower or a shady government van, complete with wires, a satellite dish, and a solar panel now very much installed on my property. By the time I yanked on my boots and stumbled outside, the tech crew was already piling into their van, one guy clutching a laptop, another gripping a drill, the third yelling about signal calibration. I shouted the obvious question. Who gave you permission to put that up there? No answer. They just peeled out down my gravel drive like they'd robbed me blind, which, as it turned out, they kind of had. 10 minutes later, I was face to face with the HOA president herself, Linda. Yes, her name was Linda, which felt almost too perfect, but trust me, she'd earned every ounce of that stereotype. She stood on her porch, sipping lemon-infused water like she hadn't just greenlit an invasion of my barn. Oh, it's just a temporary setup, she said, adjusting her pristine scarf. You don't even use that part of the roof, and the neighborhood needs better Wi-Fi. The HOA voted on it last week. The HOA doesn't own my barn, Linda, I shot back. Her eyes darted to her clipboard like she was about to invent a rule on the spot. According to subsection 3B of the Neighborhood Tech Enhancement Plan, we can use underutilized structures for temporary upgrades if it benefits most residents. It's on page 142 of the updated bylaws. I should have walked away. I should have called a lawyer. Instead, I glared at that blinking light like it had insulted my entire family tree and muttered, "Fine, let's play." The next 48 hours were a whirlwind of wires, soldering, and caffeine-fueled scheming. I rang up my old college buddy, Jake, a borderline legal tech whiz who owed me a few favors and loved a good rural payback tale. He rolled up with a van stuffed with gadgets and a grin that made me uneasy. "Spill it," he said, already elbow-deep in a crate labeled Chaos Tech. So I did. I showed him the goat cam footage. "Yes, I've got goat cams. You'd have them too if you knew what goats get up to unsupervised," I said. We watched the tech crew slap the gear on my roof, the goats lose their minds, and Linda gesturing at my barn like she was claiming it for the crown. Jake nodded like a battlefield commander. Simple. We hijack their Wi-Fi signal, route it through your goat cams, encrypt it, slap on a paywall and choke the bandwidth. If they want free internet, they'll have to go through Goatopia first. By sundown, we'd rewired everything. My barn became the hub, every byte of bandwidth flowing through that shiny new antenna now funneled through my goat cam feed, a 24/7 stream of Bessie, Muffin, Tinker, and the rest of my rowdy crew doing goat things. It was brilliant, petty, and totally legal. 2 days later, the HOA sent out a smug newsletter touting the lightning-fast new connection speeds. Linda even bragged about it in a Facebook video, beaming like she'd cured world hunger. That afternoon, I mailed her the first bill. Bandwidth va barn rental, due law 314.29, due now. She didn't pay. Instead, the Wi-Fi crashed not just for her but for the whole HOA office. Jake had rigged a paywall that locked them out without my custom billing approval. Their smart thermostats fritzed, garage doors jammed, and Linda's kid couldn't log into her online homework. I sat on my porch with a glass of iced tea and waited. The next morning, my phone rang. "This is Linda," she said, voice tight. "There's a problem with the signal. Can you check it?" "Happy to," I replied. "Soon as that invoice clears." "You can't charge us for something we installed on my roof without permission using my solar power rerouted through my goat cam switch, by the way, or my intellectual property." She hung up, but called back 2 hours later, clearly realizing she was in over her head. Too bad for her, I'd already rolled out tiered pricing. Basic Wi-Fi? Due law 314.29. No goat stream interruptions every 3 minutes? That's premium, due law 599.99. She paid the first bill that night. The next day, Jake and I added a twist. Every time someone on the HOA network skipped a payment prompt, their screen froze and cut to Bessie chomping hay right into the mic. "Is this legal?" Jake asked, grinning like he didn't care either way. Linda says I wasn't using the roof, I shrugged. Now I'm using it for profit. We dubbed the Cervyc goat grit fast, fierce, and fiber-fueled by hay. I should have known Linda wouldn't quit. After the invoice cleared and goat grit was officially powering the HOA district, I thought she'd lick her wounds with some fancy bottled water and call it a day. No. She doubled down like a stubborn mule and went full scorched earth. Within 48 hours, a notice landed in my mailbox signed in blue ink, claiming I was violating community utility obstruction codes by meddling with the sanctioned setup. I showed it to Jake over breakfast in his makeshift barn office, now a hacker den with goat posters and a lava lamp he swore was essential. He snorted into his oatmeal. She's bluffing with some HOA blog template. Still, I wasn't about to underestimate Linda. She had the grit of a badger and the charm of a tax auditor. She wasn't alone either. The next day, she called an emergency HOA Zoom meeting, except they needed goat grit to host it. They got 5 minutes of clear connection before the screen glitched, froze, and switched to a live feed of Muffin napping on a hay bale, tongue lolling out. Linda shrieked. This isn't professional meeting content. He's cute, chuckled a board member, Tom, hinting not everyone was on Team Linda. Tom later emailed me privately, thanking me for breaking up the HOA's soul-crushing monotony and offering to test goat grit's VY speeds from his garage. I mentally noted to send him a thank you pie. But Linda wasn't just ranting over goat clips, hired a lawyer. That Friday, a guy in a crisp suit, Paul, rolled up in a sleek car with out-of-state plates. He handed me a cease and desist letter on paper so fancy it could have been a royal decree. You're illegally disrupting HA infrastructure, he said. Actually, I'm pro-VYDing infrastructure, I countered. They stuck gear on my property without asking. I rerouted it. Now they're subscribers. Pretty simple. Paul blinked like I'd spoken in code. They're not paying you to extort them. No extortion. It's a Cervyc. Don't like it? Take your junk off my barn. He stepped toward my yard, but Bessie, now my unofficial gatekeeper, charged, nearly goring his leg. He leapt back. Do you even have a business license? Got it yesterday. Digital Barnyard Solutions. Want a flyer? Paul didn't want a flyer. He stormed off, muttering about lawsuits and backwoods law. I waved and told him to say hi to Linda. Bessie snorted and resumed chewing the gatepost. That weekend, the sabotage kicked off. First, the signal flickered, small blips Jake flagged instantly. Then we caught a Wi-Fi jammer buzzing overhead, mounted on a drone flying just out of sight. Too bad for them, my goat cams had night VY shown. When the drone dipped too low, Bessie leapt up and swatted it down. We watched it crash in glorious HD, then uploaded the clip to GoatGrid's no-fly zone archive. Jake suggested billing Linda for the drone repair. I added a fee for the entertainment. We sent both. When that flopped, she sent a county inspector to nitpick my unpermitted commercial signal rerouting. Lucky for me, it was Jake's old pal, who not only cleared us but helped upgrade the signal box with surge protection. By now, the HOA's dependence on GoatGrid was peak irony. Linda couldn't hold a meeting, file complaints, or sync her smart sprinklers without my goat stream. We hadn't even unleashed the premium audio yet. We saved that for their next Monday meeting. They logged in, got 15 clean minutes, then banked it to Muffin licking the lens while a glitchy remix of Linda's Community Progress speech looped with goat bleats. Jake called it Wi-Fi Muffin. The HOA mix. The board cracked up. Tom messaged me mid-meeting. You're a legend. Keep it up. That night, Linda called again. No yelling this time, just a flat, what do you want? I almost pitted her. Almost. But I knew she wasn't done, she was regrouping. So I laid it out. Monthly HOA budget payments for GoatGrid, no goat interruptions, password-protected access, and Jake's tech support. She hung up, but the payment hit the next day. Jake grinned. Think she's finished? Nope, I said, watching Bessie chase a rabbit. She's just getting started.